Alright, what's up YouTube? Welcome back to another edition of Uncommon Scentz. This video today is going to focus on the winter fragrances in my niche collection. If you're ready to unlock the secret to unforgettable winter fragrances, discover the bold, refined scents that every man needs for the winter season of 2024/2025. Let's get into it. First up, Mancera's Black Lime. You're going to get that rose oud combination that is typical for Mancera fragrances. Let me just get you acquainted. Loads of rose, oud, some a little spicy up front. The fragrance reminds me of rose oud musk. It's musky, it's floral, lots of heavier notes here. This is perfect for winter, especially for the fellas. This one's a woody, rosy oud. That's the best way for me to describe it. Top notes are spices, a little bit of amber. Base notes, gaiac wood, musk, and sandalwood. Where this fragrance truly shines to me is in the dry down. The opening can be a little bit sharp and off-putting, but it is perfect for the wintertime. Leather jacket, nice scarf, daring fragrance. This is one that is going to be extremely uncommon. That's the reason why I made this list. Next up, on number 9, Mancera Silver Blue. Oddly enough, this fragrance is suited more for wintertime. It is not a typical blue fragrance. It has somewhat of a freshness, not that crisp blue that we're used to in the fragrance community that is aquatic or cologne. Up top, you get some of that bergamot. Most fragrances for men are gonna have a bergamot or a citrus note in the top, but it's short-lived. We're heading right into the mid notes, which is gonna be that ambery, caramel, gourmand. In the base, we got amber, wood, patchouli, and oak moss. So it has somewhat of a fougere feel mixed with a gourmand. It's very different in that fact that I don't think that there are many fragrances out there doing what this one is doing. In my opinion, a easier wearable fragrance, especially in the niche side of perfume. Mancera does a really good job of making more wearable fragrances that allow you to experience the niche world of perfumery. I was going through my samples one day and just trying to wear those out, and I came across this one that says Seal Blue, and I'm like, what's Seal Blue? It smells like a Mancera. And when I ordered it, I remember like, that's what that sample was. This is an uncommon scent. I don't hear many people talking about it. If you're new here, Mancera is one of my most collected and favorite niche houses. Silver Blue is one of those fragrances that they just happen to do very, very well. Number 8, Oud Vanille. Mancera Oud Vanille reminds me of several different fragrances out there, most notably Swiss Arabian Shaggoth Oud. Does it the way that they do it. You see that pressurized atomizer? It kind of reminds me of Initio's Side Effect, Psychedelic Love, one of those two. That opening, it is very strong and pungent, and I always say it kind of gives off bug spray vibes, and I mean that in the most respectful way possible. It has that pungency that is unmistakable. Loads of oud, spices, leather, musky vanilla. Up top we got agarwood, saffron, black pepper, cardamom, some floral notes. We have vanilla, gaiac wood, and sandalwood. Most notably, I get somewhat of a coffee or a decadent vanilla with a lot of oud. Very sexy fragrance. Mostly all of these fragrances are intended to be unisex. This fragrance smells more suited on the more gourmand side for a masculine presenting individual. Coming up to the number 7 spot, Roja Dove Harrod's Oud. Harrod's exclusive. I had to have it, so guess what I did? Paid full retail and all of the international shipping associated with that. See the atomizer? Get to it. On the top, you got artemisia, citrus notes, and aldehydes. It's a lighter oud, so fresh and sexy for wintertime. It's almost like a spring oud. The way that it's done here, we got to put that on skin. Be reminded. I've been putting on fragrances all day. I'm really just getting some spice, citruses, and woods. This is a stunning fragrance. It's one of my better Roja offerings for winter. Dare I say, it's the best winter Roja that I have. AKA it's the only one, because most of my spring and summer. Yeah, it's something like a lacquered wood, if that makes sense. It feels laminated. It's fresh, woody, but there is a sturdiness to it that is gentlemanly, quite frankly, distinguished. It's not just the typical mishmash of a bunch of random woods and spices. It is refined, it almost doesn't feel like a winter fragrance. It feels more or less like a spring or summer fragrance. But the heaviness of the woods lean it in that direction. So, number 7. Coming up to the number 6 spot, Mancera's Instant Crush. Let's get into it. Mancera's Instant Crush is along the lines of the BR540 Candy Floss Saffron style of fragrance. I believe Mancera does just a little bit differently is the cotton candy-esque that the BR540 has is refined here. I'd rather smell like this than the BR540, just to be completely honest. That fragrance profile has been done to death. What I believe is different, there is an element of brightness and citrus in this fragrance, in the top. And what's gonna come through in the top is Sicilian Mandarin and Sicilian Bergamot. That citrus element in the opening makes it just a little bit more tolerable to me. So with saffron and ginger, very strong notes in fragrance, balanced out by the Sicilian Mandarin and Sicilian Bergamot. Those citrus elements take this fragrance and put it on a course to transition beautifully. Here we have amberwood, rose, Egyptian jasmine, Indonesian patchouli leaf, base, Madagascar vanilla, musk, sandalwood, and oak moss. So it gets a very rounded, fuzzy feeling in the base, and that's what I believe this fragrance does well. And it is different enough to sit in my collection alongside other Manceras that have somewhat of a similar profile. Amber Fever is another one that is close to this one, but not exactly like it. They smell similar, like cousins, but definitely not brothers. Opening of Instant Crush makes you instantly fall in love with it. The name is aptly titled. It's number 6. Number 5 spot's gonna go to Mancera's Gold Prestigium. The Mancera Prestigium line, this is my favorite. It's very well-rounded vanilla, and I'm not really a gourmand guy. Let's get into it. Powerful fragrance. Heavy vanilla. Has a little bit of spice in the opening. Agarwood oud in the top along with black pepper and bergamot. In the mid, we got orange blossom and rose, so it has a floral mid. This fragrance, admittedly, a bit more feminine depending on your fragrance taste. Women would like to smell more like this fragrance, but it has a strong presence. It has such a depth and a push. I'm not really sure if a lot of the ladies would love to smell this strong. In the base, we got vanilla, leather, white musk, and oak moss. A lot of the fragrances here that I'm featuring today have somewhat of a similar base. It's because it's rounded out and it has the comfort. The base is extremely smooth. That's what makes these fragrances extremely versatile, especially when it comes to winter. This fragrance is going to slice up a sub-zero day, especially here in Chicago. It smells divine. Number 5 is going to go to Mancera's Gold Prestigium. Next up, Initio Food for Happiness. Anybody that knows Uncommon Scentz knows I love a good priced fragrance. These are expensive. I have the bulk of the body alludes, and those are very close to these fragrances. Food for Happiness differs in one key aspect. It takes that oud for greatness scent profile and adds citrus. That's a winning combination to me. We're gonna get what I like to call that Fruity Pebbles Flintstone Vitamins type of citrus opener. The power of the fragrance has started to wilt the strip. In the top, we got bergamot and ginger. The mid, we got licorice, agarwood, and cedar. Base, we got vanilla, herbal notes, and musk. The bergamot ginger combination gives it that neroli vibe. It reminds me of how when you freshly open a box of Fruity Pebbles or Fruit Loops, that burst of what I think to be citrus and sweetness. It's interesting because this is the only fragrance I see that has made the test strip wilt. Makes it happy. That's gonna be the fragrance of the day. Love that atomizer too. It's a newer addition to my collection because I have a great deal of the rest of the fragrances that are along that line of Initio from Lattafa. I haven't found Lattafa do anything like this one, so I got the original. Number 4, Initio's Oud for Happiness. Look at that bottle though. Taste. Up to our number 3 spot, Mancera's Black Vanilla. Admittedly, I didn't want to buy this fragrance just because I've had a few things that smelled like it. I sprayed this on maybe twice, and I just really loved the way that the fragrance made me feel as I wore it. So Mancera's Black Vanilla is reminiscent of a few other fragrances. This is gourmand, done so decadently beautiful. In the opening of this fragrance, we got white peach, black currant, coconut, Calabrian, bergamot. I don't smell much of the bergamot, I won't lie to you. That opening is going to belong to the peach and coconut. In the mid, we got violet, Egyptian jasmine, Bulgarian rose. The base, Madagascar vanilla, and musk. This fragrance is exceptionally well done. It reminds me of another fragrance that I have, which is from another niche house, Molinard Vanille Frutat. As you can see, nice little dent in there. Won't lie about it. Where these two differ and depart is the fact that the opening on this one to me is so much drier. It makes me have to clear my throat. I wear this one, oddly enough, layered. I wear these together. Smells amazing. Dynamic, powerful combination. If you're looking for an amazing layering combination, if you have these two, wear them together. Thank me later. This technically is a tie for this. I would put this in the same, they're in the same category. If you have one, you technically don't need the other. However, if you have a choice and you're on the fence between one versus the other, I would say the Mancera just because to me it's better blended for me and my nose. This one is just a little bit sharper, but once you get through the opening, it is all good. The mid to the base, amazing. Coming up to number 2 spot, Montale Starry Nights. In the opening of this fragrance is very citrus heavy, which is very interesting for a winter fragrance. Comes up with loads of citrus. In the top, we have apple, bergamot, and lemon. The combination right there makes it different from winter fragrances because a lot of citruses tend to be short-lived. That's not the case with Montale Starry Nights. Keeps that citrus all the way through the fragrance. In the mid, we have rose, patchouli, and jasmine. In the base, we have musk, powdery notes, and amber. So if you're familiar with Mancera's Musky Garden, we're talking about that type of powder, but the powder isn't too crazy. It's more like talc. It has a soft roundedness. It is appropriate for this fragrance. I wouldn't necessarily think this would be for winter, but it performs exceptionally well in the winter time. And it makes sense that it's aptly titled because I feel like in the nighttime, this will shine like a star in the night. Appropriate titling here. And that's not always the case with Montale and Mancera. They usually have some titles that are not as closely linked to the fragrance as you would think they should or would be. But this is very classy and gentlemanly. It is a easier way. Like this fragrance is well done. Others around you will enjoy it on you too. That's the number 2 spot, Montale Starry Nights. Coming up to the number 1 spot, Mancera's Red Tobacco. Top notes are going to be cinnamon, agarwood, saffron, incense, nutmeg, green apple, and white pear. That note lineup sets the stage for an amazing fragrance. This is top tier. In the mid, we have patchouli and jasmine. In the base, we have tobacco, Madagascar vanilla, amber, sandalwood, gaiac wood, white musk, and Haitian vetiver. Those are all the notes that are needed to come up with an amazing fragrance. This is a very intense fragrance that is going to cut through the cold, and it smells amazing on me. A lot of personality and character, and this is one of the better Mancera fragrances out. This is an intense fragrance. I don't even think they needed the intense that they came out with. There are only a few in the Confidentials collection that have this set up, Black Vanilla being one of them, Pink Roses being another, Purple Flowers being another. But all of them have this type of setup, but not all of them are for these seasons, the colder seasons. The other 2 are for spring and summer, in my opinion. There are individuals who wear this fragrance year round. Totally up to you. However, I feel it shines the best in the cold temperatures we're experiencing right now in the Chicagoland area. Thank you all for coming by and getting fly with you guy and providing insight on all things fragrance, fashion, life, style, and travel. So, it's been your man Uncommon Scentz, and I'm out for now. We'll be back soon because you know it's going to be a next time. All right.